Hi there and welcome to this week's edition of Ringside Toe to Toe, a boxing podcast exclusive to skysports.com and iTunes. I'm Ed Robinson and I'm joined by Spencer Fearon. Good to see you, Spencer.
Listen, even better for seeing my old sparring partner who's back in the place. Ed, it's really good to see you, sir.
Cheers, pal. It's a Lomachenko special this week, and Andy Scott sat down with the Matrix yesterday to discover how his career has gone so far.
Loma, great to see you here in the UK. Just tell us about your next fight in December against Jose Pedraza.
It will be unified titles. It will be December 8 in New York Madison Theatre. For me, it's a next step in my boxing history career. So tomorrow I come to United States and begin my camp.
What do you know about Jose Pedraza? What did you make of his last performance against Raimundo Beltran?
You know, I never seen his fights, and I just saw highlights with Beltran and Gervonta Davis.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a time, and then we come United States. We sit with my team and learn his fights.
Are you injury-free now?
Yeah. I feel good and I feel healthy. So we'll see. You know, this is sport, and nobody застрахован.
Insured.
Nobody insured in this big sport.
Can you tell us, for those people that don't know the injury, can you tell us what happened, what the injury was?
Yeah. With the Linares, then I had a fight with the Linares. In the second round, I make a right hook, and I feel pain in my shoulder. And after a couple seconds, I repeat this punch, and I understand I have a problem with my shoulder. And during next round, I use only right jab and right uppercut. But I won that fight.
We'll come back to the Linares fight later. If I could just take you back to when you turned professional. Has professional boxing been everything that you thought it would be? Has professional boxing turned out to be everything that you thought it would be? Everything that you hoped it would be? Is it as you expected it to be?
No, you know, then I came to professional boxing. I don't know about politics, professional boxing. I don't understand. But now I understand. Now I learn this business. It's a business. It's not a sport. It's a business. I don't like it. I like a sport. I like a competition. I like a challenge. But this is business, and we need to agree with this.
When you signed with Top Rank, we went to see Bob Arum, and he said these guys are crazy. He said they came in my office and they said they wanted to turn professional and fight for a world title in their first fight, and I thought that they were crazy. But that story is true. You went to Bob Arum and you said, I just want to fight for world titles from the start.
Yeah. We start talking about money, and I say, hey, stop, I don't need the money, I need the title. That's why we start work together.
Not all amateur boxers make good professionals. Were you always sure that you could adjust your style to be a good or an excellent professional?
Yeah, I know, and I understand, because I know my style. I understand my potential, and I believe in my dream, in my professional dream.
What was your professional dream, and do you still have dreams that you have not yet achieved?
My professional dream, it's a undisputed world champion.
Do you think that we have seen the best of you, or can you still be better? Do you have the potential to be better?
I think I didn't open my style, and I didn't open Loma on 100%.
What percent do you think that we have seen? 50?
70.
70?
Yeah.
So there's still another 30%
Yeah.
Loma that we haven't seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're trained by your father. Tell us about that relationship. The reason I ask that question is because we have seen in the past in other relationships, father and son combination that doesn't work. Why does it work with you and your father?
Because I love and respect him, and because he trained me not like a trainer, because he trained me like a father. That's why our relationship live.
If you weren't trained by your father and you were trained by somebody else, anybody, do you think that you would have achieved what you have achieved?
It's a hard question. You know why? Because you never live your second life. I don't know.
In all of the fights that you have had so far, which fight have you enjoyed the most? Was there one that you were most satisfied with, where you thought, yeah, this is the best?
It's a 3 fights. It's a 3 fights. Then I won a title. Because for my preparation for the title was very hard. Then president WBO, WBA give you a belt. That moment you remember about your hard work, about you remember about your schedule, hard schedule, and then you come back in a room. You feel relaxed. You feel a writer. Then it's like you write a new page in your boxing history. That's why these 3 fights, I think it's my best fights in my boxing career. But my best memory in boxing, it's final Olympic Games in Beijing, because it was my childhood dream.
And there's an amazing photo and video footage of you celebrating. And was that all of that hard work and sacrifice all came out of you at that moment when you realized you had won?
It's very hard to explain you in English my feeling. Да? My feeling.
Yeah.
My feeling. I can explain you know. And professional athletes who has a gold medal, they understand what I'm talking about.
That's fair enough. We can't understand. We could never know. We could never know. You mentioned it earlier, the Linares fight. It was a very tough fight for you because of the injury, but it was also tough for you because you had to climb off of the canvas. What was that like? Yeah, of course, it's very hard boxing with 1.5 hands, you know. And after 4th round, I understand what I need to do. I feel Linares, and I relax. And after 5th rounds, I think, wow, okay, deal is done, and relax. And that moment, sleep. Okay, I wake up and I stand up, and I understand we need to begin сначала.
Start from the beginning.
Start from the beginning. And 6 rounds for me was like 1st round. I start my strategy, I start my fight from the beginning.
And it doesn't matter if you get knocked down, if you finish the fight with a knockout like you did?
No, I just stand up and finish what I need to do.
You only have that one loss on your record to Orlando Toledo. How do you reflect on that? Do you have regrets about that fight?
I regret only one. It's about second fight. We can't make second fight because in 2015 or 16 I was ready for this fight because it would be another story.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. Is Mikey Garcia your number one target?
Yeah, because he has 2 titles and he is a top fighter. He is one of the best. That's why I want fight with him.
Do you think that fight could be made in 2019?
Yep, I think so.
Do you think he wants to fight you?
Yeah.
So what is that?
But you know, we have a different mind, different things. I want this fight because I want be history. He want this fight because he want the money.
And is money not important to you, or just not as important as the belts?
In this fight, no. In this fight, no.
I'm going to ask you some general questions now, so they're not necessarily about you. So, what would be your top 5 pound for pound list? Would you be number 1? Or maybe if you did 5, 4, 3, 2, and finish with number 1.
Number 5, Errol Spence. Number 4, Alvarez.
Canelo.
Yeah, Canelo. Number 3, Joshua. Number 2, Usyk. And number 1, Crawford.
Who is your favorite fighter of all time?
It's Sugar Ray Robinson.
And why?
Because he fought every week.
Do you want to fight every week?
No, I can't because I don't want to be only one boxer who fought 1 week. It's not fair.
On everyone else.
In that time, then fought Sugar Ray Robinson. All boxers fought every week. It was fair.
If you weren't a boxer, what do you think you would have been?
I never think about this. You know why? Because I born boxer.
Yeah.
A boxer.
You were at Wembley at the weekend. Who do you think is the best heavyweight in the world at the moment?
At the moment?
Yeah, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, or Anthony Joshua, or somebody else?
Maybe Joshua. I think, maybe. But it's very hard. We can speak after they will fight. Yeah, because we can just talk. We can't.
Okay.
It's not fair.
I know you've already spoke about Alexander Usyk today, but I will just ask you a couple. How long have you known Alexander Usyk?
15 years.
What is he like as a person? Is he funny?
Yeah, he is funny. He is a good friend, and he is a good guy.
Is he a joker? Is he like? I get the impression that you two are both quite funny guys.
Yeah. we love a joke. We love a show people what we are funny.
What about Tony Bellew? Have you seen him fight before?
Yeah. I saw a couple fights with David Haye. Yep.
Do you think Alex beats Tony?
Of course.
Why?
Because he's my friend.
That's fair. That is fair. That is fair. Do you think he is a better boxer than Tony Bellew?
Better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know why? Because he has Olympic amateur school. Because he has Ackerman style. Ackerman, it's a town. Then I born.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a school. I think it's best school in the world.
Spencer, what an honour to have Vasyl Lomachenko in Sky Studios yesterday. You were here for that, and then afterwards he went down to the Fitzroy Lodge ABC, where there were 3 amateur clubs there, Earlsfield as well and Swanley. Did a little exhibition, spoke to a few other journalists, and a class act in and outside the ring.
Yeah, and quite a few people were sending me pictures of him because I posted out something on my social medias that he was in the studio. And it's like, if you're not a fan of this guy for his boxing, right, something's wrong with you. But hearing him speak and being around him yesterday, he's really, really a nice guy. And that's kind of refreshing, because to have that ability, freakish ability that he's got, that you can still remain humble, and he's still got a childish glint in his eye, that he's actually enjoying the sport that he's participating in, and he's a real ambassador of this sport, and that's the God's honest truth.
Well, it's incredible, really, isn't he? He's still kind of fresh-faced as far as the pros go. Just a 12 pro fights, already a 3-weight world champion.
That's nuts, isn't it?
Incredible in itself. But what I will say is, you've boxed. I boxed at a lower level. You watch people, you think, I could do that, but I couldn't do it consistently. But when you see him perform, he just does things that you just can't quite imagine ever being good enough to do that.
You know what? It's like when we used to watch Pernell Whitaker, right?
When he'd stand right in front of you.
He'd stand in front of you, then he'd dip down low,
yeah.
And that I couldn't see anybody doing it.
Yeah. With Pernell Whitaker, it's the comfort he had in the pocket that he could sit there and literally make you miss, and he just looked so relaxed in there, like it was his home.
And then like you throw a shot at him, and then he'd just skip off and walk away from you and stuff. And you think, yeah, you're all right, but you're just gifted and blessed. You leave it at that with Pernell Whitaker. But then this guy's come along, and Pernell Whitaker wasn't noted as a puncher, but Pernell Whitaker hit hard enough. But he wasn't an out-and-out knockout artist and none of that. It was kind of powder puff, but his skills were ridiculous. But with Lomachenko, here's a guy that he'll make you miss. He's not to the extremities of defensive genius as a Pernell Whitaker. But the thing is, he's an aggressive fighter as well, because he throws some ridiculous combinations at you. And it's weird that when you see like he's calling out his top 5, and if you notice, like of his top 5, 3 of the guys that he's called, even though Crawford's a switch hitter, but he's predominantly southpaw most of the times, that 3 of them are southpaws. And the thing about these guys who are southpaws, they think differently to most fighters. Nassim Muhammad was the same. Because you're a southpaw, you actually think differently because you're using the left side of your brain. And the guy's a genius. That's all I got to put down. He's actually a genius. But I think it's great that he's in the division now, at the lightweight division, where there are good fighters around to test him. I think Danny Garcia could test him. Maybe Danny Garcia could pull off a sneaky win, because he's not, even though he boxed...
Danny Garcia or Mikey Garcia?
Sorry, that's it. So my apologies.
I know you've got a cold. And
I'm being killed in there, but I'm still here, sir. Yeah, I'm saying Mikey Garcia, these two have to fight.
Mikey Garcia, obviously, he looks like he's got more destructive one-punch power, but perhaps a little bit more orthodox in his approach.
He's a little bit more orthodox. He's more authentic to the Mexican style of fighting.
Still very thoughtful and precise with everything.
He's very accurate. He doesn't waste shots. Just watching him against Robert Easter Jr. Last time out, and I rate Robert Easter Jr. and he just broke down Robert.
Freakishly tall as well.
Yeah, freakishly tall. But imagine, like, after the fight, like, Robert Easter Jr. is not really an in-your-face kind of guy anyway, right? Yeah. Even though, like, he's around Adrian Broner and the rest of those guys, but he's not that guy. But the beating that he took, he left being a fan of Mikey Garcia at the end of the fight as well. And this is what I'm trying to say. When we're getting sportsmen, it's like, it's okay, like, we're in the age, like, everything's like now, we want it right now. And people think, well, to get popular, I've got to be offensive and I've got to be rude and I've got to, do you know what I mean? I've got to be gregarious. None of that. We're seeing like someone like Mikey Garcia, and especially Lomachenko. I left, and it's like our producer Donald. We've had so many great guys who've come. You know, we could go for the whole list of guys who've been in here. Sugar Ray Leonard, Lennox Lewis. Go for the whole list of all the great guys. And Donald never asked for any of her pictures. And like he was like a little groupie yesterday. Like he saw Lomachenko, he said, "I've got to get a picture with you." And that's facts. That's facts. The guy's he's a great.
Okay, I'm quite interested to know how mainstream he can go, because we've all got social media now. We all look through. There's lots of kind of interesting things from boxing, fighters getting knocked down and jumping out the ring just a few days ago. You see all those clips. But with the most popular thing is probably knockouts. But probably the second most popular thing I've seen is these clips of him doing this Matrix-like stuff where he just seems to kind of slow everything down and see punches, and you know, not just slipping one way but then sliding out, moving around to the side. It's the tricks he does when he boxes, but also the tricks he does in training. You know, virtually juggling.
Have you seen when he's got the coins? He throws like 4 coins in the air, and then he catches it. Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3, 4. Like it's little things like that, which it's like. And it's weird that he's saying like on Sugar Ray Robinson, because Sugar Ray Robinson like could play table tennis. Sugar Ray Robinson play golf and do trick shots. He do all those kind of things. So you can see, I can mar the similarity between the two. And as far as I'm concerned, Ray Robinson's the greatest fighter of all times. Irrespective of Floyd Mayweather will want to tell me something else. But
Robinson was quite orthodox in the way he boxed, though, wasn't he? He was very clever with it. But Lomachenko just seems so unique and original. And it's interesting, isn't it, with Naz, when he came along and he was so popular, a lot of people tried to imitate him. You go around the amateur gyms, people with their hands low, kind of chucking these really long shots, kind of out of nowhere, looping shots. And
Carl
then
Frost used to do that in the amateurs. Do you remember that?
He did, yeah. He did. Even when he jabbed, his right hand would go back a bit, wouldn't it? With Mayweather, a whole generation of fighters in amateur gyms, shoulder rolling. Do you think we'll see some of Loma's tricks going through the amateur ranks now?
No. And
because you can't do it.
Because you can't
imitate it.
Right, seriously. On those, like I said, is the similarity is him and Pernell Whitaker, but then there is some similarity between him and Willie Pep. But Willie Pep wasn't noted as a puncher. This is the thing that makes this guy so uniquely special, because he can dodge punches and he'll stay in punching range as well and that's the thing, he'll stay in punching range to hit you with hard shots. And it's not just singular shots, he'll throw a combination shot at you. So he'll throw 3 shots and then he'll spin off to the side, and it's like, was thinking to yourself, well, why can't someone hasn't worked out? Like when he spins off to the side, why don't you throw the left hook? And you're saying, yeah, then throw the left hook, but he does it in a way like he throws him and he steps off, and he's actually stepping over to your left hook. But he does it in a way that you could throw the left hook anyway. It's not going to hit him because he rolls underneath it. Really good fighter, man. Really, really good fighter.
Do you think it's a conscious thing, or is it kind of at that level? Do you think it's subconscious? Because he's basically reading your mind, isn't he? He's working out patterns within your behaviour, the way you do things, little micro mannerisms when you set up a shot, because that's the only way he'd be able to read that shot before you throw it.
It was for people who are listening who've never boxed before. Fighters, we work in milliseconds, right? Like average fighter, we work in milliseconds, because you know, like you'd go home and like the other day I saw Ed Robinson had a really good spar with Harold Graham, right? And you're thinking to yourself, Harold Graham, who's one of the greatest fighters never to win a world title, Harold Graham must have worked in micro milliseconds, because you could have hit the guy. And like how like Harold Graham was a superb tactician and defensive fighter. Somebody like a Lomachenko is very similar to it was Alt Murkison years ago was saying to me, like, well, Roy Jones could slow down time.
Funny enough, he was saying Lomachenko yesterday that the person he probably studied most with Roy Jones.
Yeah, okay then, right. And there lies the similarity, because Roy could slow down a peak Roy Jones. We're not talking about this old guy now. And the saddest thing about this is, like, when old guys, when great fighters carry on way too long, the younger generation come through and they don't remember what these guys used to do or how fantastic Roy Jones was. And it's nice and it's fitting that somebody like Lomachenko would say, like, he watched Roy Jones. He also said he used to watch Mike Tyson as well. Maybe that's where he gets that tenaciousness from, because he does bite down the gum short when he has to give it to you. And he slows down to fractions of seconds. So it's like also anticipation, but then it's also like natural ability. And when you work on something so much or in that consistent manner that he has worked on, it's everything just falls into place for him. A fantastic, wonderful fighter. And on top of that, he's a really class human being.
People talk about boxing at the highest level being a lot like chess, you know, and you've got Klitschko likes chess, and you've got AJ likes chess, and you've got Lennox Lewis likes chess. And I think when you start playing a game like chess, you're thinking one move ahead, and then you're thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. But he seems to have got the whole game worked out before you even start.
He fights rounds ahead. Seriously, if you see how he fights, and it was like yesterday when he was on the show. Please watch #toe-to-toe because it is actually a Lomachenko special, myself and Andy Scott, and I had to apologise to the guy. I said to him, listen, I really got to apologise to you because I really thought that Nicholas Walters could take care of you, because I'm seeing all this hype what you're doing. I was saying, yeah, it's all good against these kind of fighters. When you go in there with someone real who wants it, we're going to see. And I saw him befuddle and break a man's heart
by making him miss, embarrassing him.
Yeah, because you got to think, like, it was
Duran v Leonard return,
very similar. But in this fight, I'm not making excuses for Duran. He's one of my favourite fighters of all time. But I do believe that Roberto Duran, when he went into the rematch with Sugar Ray Leonard, didn't take Leonard seriously and came in a bit fat. Seriously,
he's supposed to have stomach cramps.
And like, I'm not making excuses for Leonard's one of the greatest of all times and one of my favourite fighters, but I would still side with the fact that there was something wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with Nicholas Walters going into that fight. His heart was broken. And it was broken in a way like, what's going on here? Like, I think in Nicholas Walters' head, he was saying, don't worry, him and his dad were just working on stuff. I'm going to get into punching range, and when I let my right hand off on him, he's going to know what time of day it is, right?
Yeah.
And he got into it.
If you're a puncher, you mentioned Harold Graham.
Right.
Julian Jackson was made to miss repeatedly, but he just knew he only had to land once.
Yes.
But I think, people calling him Lomachenko because 4 fighters in a row quit against him. And it's just, I think these fighters just are in with him and they just think, I'm never going to hit him. Never going to hit him properly clean.
Well, as much as we say that we're never going to hit him, Jorge Linares managed to hit him and floor him. And this is the thing where I'm saying I've got to give you credit, because when he got floored, I think around the world, a lot of people were like, yes! You know what I mean? Yeah. And the way he just got up and like, all right, watch. And like the round went, and how he came back, knowing that guy's got a tenaciousness to him, his IQ's incredible. You know what I mean? He should be lecturing geniuses because his IQ's that high. And all I'm saying to anyone who's watching boxing right now, just enjoy this guy while he's around.
Yeah, it's interesting the questions as well about whether he would have gone as far without his father Anatoly training him. I don't know whether he'd have gone as far in any kind of sport he did, whether he's just a sporting genius, so to speak.
Well, you know what? I don't know what it is, but what I do know is, like, and I've been around great fighters, okay? It's like one of the questions yesterday on Sky News was, how would you have gotten against Floyd Mayweather? And it's
a bit unfair, isn't it? Because he comes across as arrogant if he says he'll win, but obviously as a fighter, he'd fancy his chances.
Right, of course. And like, I like how he answered the question as well. But me personally, right now, it's unfair to judge a man who is... He's not even at his peak yet, right? Yeah. He's 12 fights in, right? So he's not at his peak. And something like that we'd have to judge when he retires, because right now, I'm going to say Floyd Mayweather would have beaten him, right? Especially the Floyd Mayweather, people seem to forget that Floyd Mayweather at super featherweight was a beast. He was knocking guys out. Don't get twisted. We're getting old.
Angel Manfredi, Corrales days.
How good was he against Angel Manfredi? Manfredi just had that fantastic win against Gatti, and I think it's for the WBU title then, right? And like Floyd Mayweather comes in, and Floyd Mayweather just beats him up, and that's when you know, like Floyd Mayweather was the real deal. But just imagine if Floyd, and this is no real comparison, but just imagine if Floyd Mayweather came across as humble as a Lomachenko. How would he be seen in the world?
Yeah, controversy sold though, didn't it, with Mayweather, especially.
He's a billionaire from it.
One last question before we've got to move on, unfortunately. But he had 397 reported amateur bouts. He lost once to Albert Selimov, who's an outstanding fighter, beat him a couple of times in returns. I don't understand how you can have that many fights and not get robbed a few times, but with that amount of fights, he did a few fights in the World Boxing Super Series when he went unbeaten, boxed over here.
Did you see him at York Hall? I saw him at the York Hall.
When he fought Sam Maxwell.
Yeah, did you was that the fight?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And Joe Joyce fought Usyk, who we'll go on to in a second. Usyk beat Joe Joyce despite giving away the weight quite handily. But because of those sheer number of amateur fights and all the sparring and the wear and tear, and he's had some problems with his shoulder, what will beat him in the end? Will it be the kind of that massively long amateur career, taking some wear and tear and him turning pro a little bit late? Will it be stepping up through the weight divisions, or do you think he can continue this run as he pleases?
I would say I think he's stepping up through the weight division, because when you see guys who step up through the weight divisions, the only guy who has stepped up through the weight divisions in recent memory that's knocked out guys the same as when they were in the lightweight division was Manny Pacquiao, right?
Yeah, but if you're not really known as a puncher, if you're known as a boxer, it's slightly different. Pernell Whitaker stepped up to the old light middleweight, super welterweight, and did it.
But Pernell Whitaker was just ridiculously skilled.
Yeah,
and I think Pernell Whitaker was the guy that gave Floyd Mayweather the encouragement and confidence to think that he could go through the weights, because Pernell Whitaker wasn't a physically big man.
Yeah.
But his skill level was ridiculous, right? Pernell's one of the greats as well. But with somebody like Lomachenko, I think the thing that could be, if he goes like a step too far, like I think with Terence Crawford, it was muted when he was down at super featherweight that he was going to move up to light welter and fight Terence Crawford. I thought that was sacrilege. I think Terence Crawford is too big and just wrong style for him. But maybe, just maybe, he's best suited being a super featherweight, because he got floored against Linares. Don't get twisted, Linares is a fantastic fighter. We've been smart to say we've been ringside on like 4 of his fights now to watch Linares. Linares is like incredible.
Yeah, plus there was a shoulder injury, and he did talk about the way he readjusted in the fight.
Yeah. Who do you think, like, out of the fighters are out there now, Ed, who do you think could give him the most trouble?
I wouldn't like to see him step up as far as Crawford, to be honest. I've seen Crawford a few times in America, and he is a big, just physically, it doesn't seem a fair fight. But Mikey Garcia is the mouth-watering one for me.
Who do you think would win that fight? It's tough, isn't it?
It's tough, but pound for pound, I'd go for Lomachenko. He just might be a bit too small for even Garcia, but we'll see.